right, Nick, let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals for a minute. This has been a very interesting free agency for the Bengals. They have lost a lot of people in free agency. But they've also picked up a lot of people in free agency as well. And I think they have done a beautiful job matching who they've lost in free agency and getting better in one way or the other, whether it's talent or price that they get their players at. I think this was a beautiful job by the Bengals front office through this whole free agency period. Let's get into the graphic that I have made up and we're going to talk about it a little bit, talk about some contract stuff. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. So, first up, let's go through who they lost and who they've gotten. First up, they lose DJ Reader, big hit to the defensive line, but you gain Sheldon Rankins, also a very solid player as well. So, that is a great signing there to cover the loss of DJ Reader. You lose Chidobe Awuzie in the secondary. That hurts, but you get two guys in the secondary back. One, Bengals fans are very familiar with. Von Bell is back to the Bengals, but you also get Geno Stone from the Baltimore Ravens, who's been very, very solid as well. Then in the tight end game, you lose Irv Smith Jr., but you sign another great pass catching tight end. Probably I'd say a better pass catching tight end, and Mike Gesicki. That was a great signing as well. And finally, you lose Joe Mixon. He was a great running back, but you get Zach Moss back as well. Let's go through this, and I want to tell you exactly why these were good in one way or the other by looking at the contracts that these players either went on to get or signed with the Bengals, because I think that sheds a lot of light on how smart these moves were for the Bengals. Let's go through these really quickly. So first off, we talked about DJ Reader, Sheldon Rankins. That was a really big one. DJ Reader, 2-year deal, $27.25 million, $9 million guaranteed. Sheldon Rankins, $24.5 million, $8 million guaranteed. So very similar contracts, but Sheldon Rankins, a little bit of a discount than you would have had to pay for a guy like DJ Reader. Then in the safety or secondary corner position, you got Chidobe Awuzie, 3-year, $36 million, $22.9 million guaranteed. That would have been a big hit to this Bengals team with a lot of contracts coming down the pipe. You get Von Bell back and Geno Stone back for about $20 million combined on those contracts. Only $12 million combined guaranteed on those contracts. So I think you got a heck of a bargain for two really good players. You got Irv Smith and you got Mike Gesicki. This is the one that's a little bit better. I think you get more value in the player and the talent in Gesicki than you would a guy like Irv Smith. Smith signed a 1-year, $1.29 million contract, $384,000 guaranteed with the Chiefs. Gesicki, 1-year, $2.5 million contract, $400,000 guaranteed. Pretty similar, but I think you get a little bit more talent from a guy like Gesicki. And finally, Joe Mixon, 2-year, $19,750,000 contract with Houston, $13 million guaranteed. But then you have Zach Moss, 2-year, $8 million contract, $3 million guaranteed. For the running back market, you feel a lot better paying $8 million, $3 guaranteed, than having almost $20 million on the books for a running back. Nick, this was great work by Duke Tobin and this Bengals front office. Curious what your thoughts are on this and kind of what it means to you. But Bengals fans, I know we've been going for a while now, but I really want to hear your thoughts. Which one of these trade-offs or signings was the most value to this Bengals team? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what do you think about all this?
I think it's absolutely incredible. Look, the way the NFL is structured by design with free agency and the draft orders to create parity, right? The more talented teams like the Cincinnati Bengals obviously are, certainly when Joe Burrow is healthy, lose out players to free agency, and then the quality of play, they become less talented, and then they drop towards the middle, and the bottom feeders sign the more talented players' teams, and then they rise to the middle, and you get ultimate parity. That's how the NFL is designed. What the Bengals have shown here is they've done an incredible job. And again, the front office deserves a lot of credit. Is they've lost obviously a lot of talented players. As you can see on the screen, there's a lot of guys that left that were obviously very good football players. But they've not only replaced them or helped that position group out, adding some quality players as well. They've upgraded in some areas. I think Rankins is pretty similar to DJ Reader. I think Zach Moss at this point in his career compared to Mixon at this point in his career, I think they're very similar. I think Moss, I think may actually have Mixon beat a little bit. Mixon's getting a little bit older. Gesicki, like you said, I think is much better than Irv Smith. So again, not only that, they're getting upgrades in that position, those positions as well. And then here's the ridiculous part, like you mentioned, they got discounts. And that's not supposed to happen in the National Football League. That's not how this whole thing works, right? You don't see a team get better at a lot of positions after losing some guys and then save cap space, right? The only thing that ever happens is we see sometimes with like the old Patriots dynasty, will you'll get one player like 35 years old, he's hunting for a title, he may take a 1-year home team discount. But you don't get multiple players of quality in the prime of their careers in some case going to a team and getting them below the former player that left in terms of contract and cap hit. This is phenomenal work by the Bengals front office. I also think it speaks to, again, money kind of talks and people vote with their feet. People look at the Bengals as kind of a forgotten entity in the media as a Super Bowl contender. You better believe that the players in the National Football League don't see it that way. They see the Bengals as they were a couple years ago, making deep playoff runs, making it to a Super Bowl, should have beaten the Chiefs in Kansas City a couple years ago. They see the Bengals as an elite contender. That's the only reason you get this list of quality of players going to Cincinnati right now on discount prices, right? These players see the Bengals as just as good, maybe even better than the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills or the 49ers or whatever top contender you see right now. And I think this is what makes the Bengals so scary. They're obviously very, very good when healthy. They're one of the best teams in football when healthy, but they've actually gotten better and they've saved cap space dollars. That, again, I want to keep reiterating that because that just doesn't happen. This is an incredible work here done by the Bengals front office, and I think their future, not just in the short term, but in the long term, is bright because of it.